Betrayal is the breaking of trust, the wound that cuts deeper than steel, the act that exposes the fragility of human loyalty. And yet, the wise do not curse it, nor do they run from it. They expect it, they prepare for it, they master it before it masters them. You see, to walk through life without the expectation of betrayal is to walk unguarded through a battlefield. It is to invite disappointment, to allow the naive hope that others will never fail you to be your downfall. This is why the Stoic does not build his fortress on the sands of blind trust. He builds it on the unshakable foundation of reason, self-reliance, and an unwavering understanding of human nature. People betray not because they are evil, but because they are weak. Fear, greed, insecurity, and ambition drive them to turn against even those they once swore loyalty to. But the wise man does not rage against the storm. He studies it, he understands it, and in doing so, he renders himself immune to it. This is not a call to bitterness, nor is it a demand for isolation. It is a lesson in preparedness. Just as a warrior sharpens his blade before the battle, you must sharpen your mind before betrayal comes knocking. It will come, from friends, from family, from those you least expect. The question is not if, but when. And when it does, will you crumble, or will you stand unmoved, unshaken, untouched by the treachery of the world? Let me show you how to rise above betrayal, how to anticipate it, how to turn it into a source of strength rather than weakness. The world will not change, people will falter, but you, if you embrace the wisdom of the Stoics, will remain untouchable. 1. The harsh reality of human nature. Betrayal is older than civilization itself. It is woven into the very fabric of human existence. From the moment man learned to trust, he also learned the pain of being deceived. Great empires have crumbled under the weight of disloyalty. Friendships have been shattered, families torn apart, and kings dethroned by the very people they believed to be loyal. The question is not whether betrayal exists, but why so many refuse to accept its inevitability. People deceive themselves with illusions of permanent loyalty, believing that just because they have been good to others, others will return that goodness in equal measure. But history has taught us otherwise. Even the closest bonds can be broken. Even the kindest of hearts can be tempted. No one is immune from the pull of self-interest, fear, or weakness. If you refuse to accept this reality, you will live a life of constant disappointment. You will be blindsided, devastated, and consumed by anger when betrayal inevitably arrives. The Stoic, however, does not suffer this fate. He prepares for the truth. He expects betrayal, and because of that, he is never shaken by it. 2. Betrayal is not an exception, it is inevitable. Many people live in denial, believing that betrayal is rare, that it is an exception rather than the rule. But history and human nature tell us otherwise. Betrayal is not some accident that occasionally disrupts life. It is a force as natural as the wind and the rain. It is a part of the human condition. Why? Because people are driven by their own desires, their own fears, and their own weaknesses. The man who swears his loyalty to you today may abandon you tomorrow if his interests shift. The friend who claims he would never speak ill of you may turn against you when the pressure is great enough. This is not pessimism, nor is it an excuse to distrust all. It is simply wisdom. The wise man knows that betrayal is not a question of morality, but of circumstance. He does not waste time being shocked when it happens. He sees it for what it is, an event as predictable as the rising of the sun. 3. The Stoic approach to trust and expectation. If betrayal is inevitable, should one never trust anyone? No, that is not the answer. The Stoic does not live in paranoia, nor does he isolate himself from the world, but he trusts with wisdom, not with blind hope. To trust wisely is to understand that loyalty is always conditional. The loyalty of a friend is conditional upon his interests. The loyalty of a soldier is conditional upon his duty. The loyalty of a partner is conditional upon their emotions. Nothing is absolute. The Stoic, therefore, does not expect perfection from others. He understands that people are flawed, and he adjusts his expectations accordingly. He does not place his happiness in the hands of another. He does not make his peace dependent on promises that may be broken. He stands firm in the knowledge that no matter what happens, he will remain whole. 4. Understanding the weakness of others. Betrayal often feels personal. It feels like an attack, a deliberate act of malice. But more often than not, it is not born of hatred, but of weakness. People betray because they are afraid, because they are greedy, because they are insecure. When you understand this, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. You stop seeing betrayal as a targeted offense against you and begin to see it as the natural failing of a fragile human being. This understanding does not excuse disloyalty, but it allows you to detach from the pain of it. A Stoic does not hate the rain for falling. He does not curse the lion for hunting, and he does not waste energy resenting those who betray him. He simply acknowledges reality and moves forward, unaffected. 5. Why betrayal hurts and how to master the pain. Betrayal cuts deep because it shatters illusions. We believe in loyalty, and when that illusion breaks, it wounds us. But the wise man understands that the pain of betrayal is self-inflicted. It comes not from the act itself, but from our expectation. If you expect the world to be fair, you will suffer when you see injustice. If you expect people to always be loyal, you will be heartbroken when they are not. But if you remove expectation, you remove suffering. Master the pain by shifting your mindset. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "How can I use this to grow?" Instead of mourning the loss of trust, celebrate the knowledge gained. Every betrayal is a lesson, every disappointment a teacher, and the man who learns from them becomes stronger than the one who avoids them. 6. The power of pre-rehearsal. Expecting disloyalty before it happens. The Stoics practiced a powerful mental exercise known as premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They would imagine the worst possible scenarios in advance so that when hardships came, they were already prepared. Apply this to betrayal. Expect that at some point someone you trust will betray you. Imagine it happening, visualize your response, and decide now that you will not be shaken. When the moment comes, you will not be caught off guard. You will not react with rage or despair. You will simply nod and say, "I knew this was coming," and you will move on, unaffected. 7. Detachment is the key to invincibility. If you want to be unbreakable, you must detach from the need for loyalty. Expect nothing, demand nothing. Appreciate loyalty when it exists, but do not make it a necessity for your peace. The less you rely on others for your sense of security, the less their betrayal will affect you. A man who needs no one cannot be betrayed. A man who stands firm in himself cannot be shaken. 8. Turning betrayal into strength and wisdom. Every betrayal is an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to become stronger. Do not waste time in resentment. Do not wallow in self-pity. Take the lesson and move forward. If you trust too easily, learn to be more discerning. If you expect too much from others, learn to rely more on yourself. If you have been wounded, let that wound make you wiser, not weaker. 9. The ultimate response: dignity over bitterness. When you are betrayed, do not retaliate with anger. Do not lower yourself to the level of those who have wronged you. Respond with dignity. Rise above it. Let your silence be your answer. The greatest revenge is not hatred, but indifference. The one who betrayed you wants to see you wounded. Do not give them that satisfaction. Show them that their actions have no power over you. 10. Rising above betrayal with unshakable character. Betrayal reveals character, not just of the betrayer, but of the betrayed. Will you allow yourself to be consumed by bitterness, or will you stand tall, unmoved? Be the latter. Be the one who cannot be broken. Let betrayal be the fire that forges you, not the storm that drowns you. 11. The only trust that cannot be broken. The only true loyalty you can rely on is your own. The only trust that cannot be broken is the trust you place in yourself. Build your foundation on that, and you will never be left standing in ruins. 12. Walking the Stoic path with absolute resilience. Walk through life prepared. Expect betrayal, but do not fear it. Be wise in whom you trust, but never make your happiness dependent on another. Stand firm, be unshaken, and no matter what the world throws at you, remain untouchable.